Many people hear this topic might be confused about masturbation. When young, don't adults often say that you can't do such bad things? How to reach the age of 60. Instead, it has become a good habit to protect your health. Don't be surprised or shy. This is not the headline party that the coward heard. It's an interesting truth that scientific research is gradually revealing. Then this simple habit. How to become a 60-year-old. What about the secret weapon to protect your health? Today, let's start from both male and female perspectives. With light humor, easy to understand, deep slight masturbation and aging. Take a look at this shameful little hobby, how to inadvertently bringing physical and mental benefits to middle-aged and elderly friends. And what are some common misconceptions to be aware of? So let's start with physiology. When a person engages in self-stimulation, it's called masturbation. The body will undergo a series of changes to welcome orgasm. Rapid heart rate, shortness of breath, blood rushing to the sex organs. Muscles are gradually collapsing. As the excitement builds to a peak, the body will orgasm. It's a fleeting, but a strong experience of extreme pleasure. It's like the brain is having a party at this moment. Release a lot of pleasure. Relaxing chemicals. One of these, dopamine, makes us happy and content. Oxytocin brings a warm and intimate sense of security. And endorphins. Similar to natural painkillers and sedatives, let the whole body be immersed in comfort and peace. And here's the thing. These happy factors. It also fights stress hormones in the body. Cortisol drives away tension and anxiety. So after the orgasm, we often feel relaxed. The pressure seems to be swept away. No wonder so many people put their first silver as an effective way to relieve stress. And here's the interesting thing. The physiological experience of men and women when they reach orgasm for the first silver also slightly different. Male orgasms are usually accompanied by ejaculation. The accumulated semen in the body will pour out. This is often followed by a burst of exhaustion and sleepiness. This is normal, because after the orgasm, the body goes into recovery mode. Increased levels of hormones like prolactin. It makes you sleepy. No wonder some men are satisfied alone. Immediately sleepy into sleep. Women don't ejaculate. But the combat power and extreme pleasure of the whole body are a lot. And women usually recover faster than men. As long as the nature and physical strength are still there, some people can even do it in a short time. Reach several orgasms in a row. But many male compatriots both envy and admire. From a psychological point of view, moderate first silver can not only meet sexual needs, it will also bring positive feelings of control over your body and happiness. Such self-exploration, it allows people to better understand their own preferences in significant other relationships. The need for confident expression, simultaneous pleasure and relaxation during masturbation helps relieve stress. Leave your worries behind for a while. Many people also find that the drowsiness after orgasm, it can help you fall asleep faster. This is for middle-aged and elderly friends who often suffer from insomnia. It is a natural sleep aid, and it doesn't require any medication. No wonder someone called First Silver is the cheapest and most effective sleeping pill in the world. However, due to a long period of time, many social and cultural taboos against the first silver, many people bring up this topic, still feel ashamed. Many friends were young. Maybe you've all gone through a similar journey, while secretly enjoying the pleasure. On the other hand, I secretly worry about whether this will hurt my health, or fear of being discovered. In fact, this complex sense of shame, more from ideological constraints rather than the first act itself. Scientific research has long shown that at the normal frequency and the first silver in the moderate range, no harm to body and mind. In other words, childhood those about first silver, servant rumors that will lead to dire consequences. There is no reliable scientific basis. For example, hair loss is primarily determined by genetics and androgen levels. It has nothing to do with the first silver in his youth. Vision loss. It is more related to age and eye habits. People who wear glasses can't take responsibility to the absurdities of youth. As for waste acid and soft legs, low spirits, these are mostly elderly. Physical functions decline naturally, or due to poor work and rest. It really shouldn't be simply blamed, masturbation at a young age. On the contrary, the first silver is one of the innate instincts of human beings. There are statistics showing that the vast majority of men and more than half of women, at some point in life, have experienced the first silver. In fact, it's not just humans. Scientists have observed chimpanzees, many animals, such as dolphins, also amuse themselves. Visible. The pursuit of sexual pleasure is an instinct bestowed by nature. We shouldn't be ashamed of that. Since it is so normal and common, we don't need to think of it as a flood. Beast. So what does the first silver have to do with aging? Why can he protect his health after the age of 60? So let's dive into that. This simple habit, special significance for the elderly. You all know that. Stress is the enemy of aging. Chronic psychological stress can lead to stress like cortisol in the body. Hormones are high, disrupt sleep, elevated blood pressure, impairs immune function, it ages prematurely, and regular orgasm can help us relieve stress. Low cortisol levels. If the elderly can pass in life, masturbating this way, relax regularly. It's like giving yourself an extra pressure relief valve. Therefore, stress can reduce the damage to the body. It's getting old. The immune system inevitably weakens gradually. You can easily get sick if you don't pay attention. If only there was a way that was both enjoyable and safe. It can help boost immunity. It must be worth a try. Research shows that orgasms can keep the immune system in short order. Be more active during the day. For example, there are scientific experiments that have observed men reach orgasm after their first silver. The number of white blood cells in the blood, there has been a significant increase. Although this improvement is temporary, however, if such activities are maintained in moderation and regularity, it might give the immune system a little exercise. Not too lazy. So it seems immune health of the elderly. There are potential benefits. At the same time, sexual activity also has certain cardiovascular benefits. The heart rate increases during orgasm. Elevated blood pressure. Although the duration is short, but it's like doing a set of mini aerobic exercises. That extra bit of exercise. For most healthy people in the elderly, not only harmless, proper sexual stimulation can actually benefit cardiopulmonary function. The study even found that regular sex life helps reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke. Certainly, for people who already have heart disease, restart the affair and follow the doctor's advice. However, generally speaking, first silver as a relatively mild activity. It's safe. People often ask, can you have sex with a bad heart? Doctors usually use an analogy. If you can climb 2 flights of stairs with ease, don't feel bad. That means you can have sex with peace of mind. Or masturbate then. What are the effects of first silver on hormones? Male friends sometimes worry. Does frequent ejaculation reduce high ketone levels? Make people listless? Lack of masculinity. In fact, the study found that high ketone levels after ejaculation, although it will briefly drop a little bit, but soon rebounded back to normal, does not cause long-term high ketone deficiency. Therefore, a modest first silver does not make men feel depressed. For women, first silver, little direct effect on sex hormones like estrogen. Instead, we should be more concerned. Dopamine released during orgasm, the positive effects of hormones like oxytocin. They relieve stress, improve mood. These are all good for healthy aging. Except for hormones, men's prostate health and first silver. There are also subtle relationships. Prostate. It is a part of men that is prone to problems. Benign hyperplasia is easy to occur with age. Hypertrophy even carries the risk of cancer, and moderate ejaculation, whether through sex or first silver, helps to empty prostatic fluid, a figurative metaphor. This is like regularly changing the water in a cistern, prevents the long-term retention of harmful deposits. There are indeed large studies that have found middle-aged men who average monthly, at least 20 times involved in gold. The probability of developing prostate cancer in the future, much lower than people who ejaculate less than 7 times a month. Regularly clear the prostate. It may be beneficial for preventing prostate diseases. For men over the age of 60, if married life is less frequent, maintain a certain ejaculation frequency through the first silver. It's a smart move to protect the prostate. In addition, regular sexual stimulation. It also maintains the elasticity of the blood vessels of the corpus cavernosum. Reduce the risk of erectile dysfunction. After all, human organs are used up like machines. If you don't use it for a long time, it is easy to cause problems. Give them some exercise once in a while. It is very harmful to the maintenance of male sexual function. On the other hand, prolonged lack of sperm can lead to prostate congestion, ejaculation, and other discomfort. Your body will eventually remind you in its own way. It's time to release. Instead of holding back, it's better to release moderately through masturbation. You can also avoid these troubles. Why not? Let's look at women again. With age and menopause, estrogen levels drop. Causes thinning of the vaginal mucosa, reduced lubrication, vaginal dryness, and decreased elasticity. It can even cause painful sex. But through masturbation or other forms of sexual stimulation, can increase local blood circulation in the pelvis. Promotes vaginal lubrication, regular sexual excitement, and orgasm. It can help maintain the health of vaginal tissue, as if to tell him not to retire prematurely. Can continue to work. Some gynecologists, it might even be recommended for postmenopausal women, maintain a certain frequency of self-stimulation or married life to prevent the vagina from gradually shrinking and narrowing. At this point, the first silver played a similar role in rehabilitation exercise. Helps maintain the function of female friends' private parts, reduce dryness and pain. For women over the age of 60, If significant others are not around or sexual needs are out of sync, take care of your body through the first silver. It is indeed an effective way to maintain sexual health. Maintain a certain sex life. That includes self-satisfaction. It can also have a positive impact on the brain and mind. There are studies that find those who still lead an active sex life, the elderly, performance on memory and cognitive tests, often better. For example, a study by the University of Cornwall in the United Kingdom at least one activity per week for the elderly. Scores on cognitive tests, significantly higher than peers who have almost no sex. This may be because sexual activity keeps the brain active. Hormonal changes also promote neural activity. And these associations are, of course, still being studied. But one thing is for sure. The sexual pleasure of the elderly. They also tend to have a better emotional and psychological state. The fact that they still feel passionate about themselves and feel relieved because this self-assessment is more positive, better quality of life. In comparison, those who give up or suppress their sexual needs prematurely may be more susceptible to depression. Negative emotions such as loneliness. Of course, first silver. Can't replace significant other relationships. The emotional exchange provided by the department, but he at least provided a way to relieve loneliness. And pathways to anxiety. Let people regain the joy and vitality in life. For elderly people who live alone or are widowed, the pleasure brought by the first silver, more like a warm dose of psychological medicine. It is worth mentioning that, for some elderly people, can still achieve orgasm through the first silver. It is also a source of confidence in itself. Prove that you can still do it. This positive psychological suggestion, it's also good for your overall health. Since the first silver itself has so many benefits, why are there still so many of the elderly concerned about this? Even talk about ancient color change. This has to be mentioned. The influence of social culture on the first silver. In many traditional cultures, sexual activity is primarily believed to be about reproduction. Self-behavior has long been considered taboo. In our Chinese concept, the ancients believed semen that and blood are where the vitality of the human body lies. Random ejaculation can damage kidney key. It's debilitating. So much so that there is a rumor among the people that there are 10 like injuring the meridian and hurting the body. But many men, especially older men, afraid that your old money will be emptied out. Women's sexual desire is suppressed and hidden all year round. Traditional concept, feel serious, women. You shouldn't have this idea of reading for yourself. In the past, many women didn't even know. Women can also achieve orgasm through self-defense. After all, in the age of information isolation, this kind of knowledge is hardly mentioned, even in Western history. Also full of misunderstandings and stigma about shoyin. In the 18th-19th century, some Western doctors claim that masturbation can cause blindness. Madness even lists dozens of terrible diseases. Masturbation as the root of all evil. Therefore, people at that time invented all kinds of weird defensive lewdness. Device such as someone in a teenager's underwear, sprinkle with skin-tingling powder, someone installed a mechanism on the bed, prevent movement in sleep. Now it seems absurd and ridiculous. However, the shadow left by these old ideas, not completely dissipated, it is still deeply ingrained in the hearts of many elderly people. Well, there's a rational side to the conventional wisdom. For example, traditional Chinese medicine has long emphasized that sexual intercourse should be controlled, and the principle of moderation advocated by modern medicine. But in the past, due to the lack of scientific evidence, the fear of shoyin is exaggerated. The times are progressing. The development of sexual science and the renewal of concepts let people start to rediscover sexual needs in the elderly. More and more research and open discussion let everyone understand sex is not reserved for young people. 60 or 70-year-old, you can still enjoy sexual pleasure and intimacy. Self-defense as a means of privacy and security. It is also gradually being given a positive meaning. In some Western countries, there are even special openings for the elderly. Sex education courses offered. How can Sale's silver-haired people continue to enjoy it safely? Sex and first silver fun. In the market, also provides sex toys for the elderly. Our social attitudes are also slowly changing. Start with more openness, understanding the happiness of the elderly. It is worth mentioning that many women reach middle age and even old age. I really started masturbating. This is for them. It's a whole new experience of self-discovery. Some aunties have conservative ideas when they are young, never cross the line. But after menopause, instead, because of physical changes and curiosity, take the first step towards self-exploration. It enhances your sense of life and your sense of self. This is in old age. Still have the courage to try new things. It also helps to maintain a youthful mindset. Aunt Zhang, 62, is an example. When he was young, he was very traditional. From the bottom of my heart, I feel that kind of thing has nothing to do with me. However, after being widowed at the age of 55, alone and lonely, he began to reassess his needs. By chance, he attended a lecture on middle-aged and elderly health. Hear from your doctor about the benefits of first silver in old age. Auntie Zhang doubtfully summoned up her courage. Tried a few times. I didn't expect it. Not only did it improve the insomnia that had plagued him for years, even the mood is much brighter. He even quipped that he knew there was such a trick. I don't have to stay up so many sleepless nights. After this first-hand experience, and Zhang is deeply aware of, it turns out that I am not an abnormal woman, but a person with normal desires, healthy women who also have the right to enjoy happiness. In fact, the investigation revealed that those who think sex is healthy for the elderly, more likely to engage in persistent masturbation or sexual activity. And people with very conservative attitudes, they often give up this experience too soon. For the elderly, face up to your sexual needs, not bound by stereotypes, to better enjoy the first camp. Possible health benefits. So earlier we talked about longevity, and we have to talk about that. Scientific research team's first observation on silver and health and longevity. A famous long-term study in the UK found that men with a higher frequency of orgasms, its mortality rate, significantly lower than men with very low orgasm frequency. In other words, those who still have regular leaks, whether by significant others or in self-defense. The lifespan ratio is they have longer sex lives. Researchers speculate regular sexual activity may reduce stress, improve cardiovascular function, etc. Reduce the risk of disease. Media can even extend life with orgasms. To describe this discovery, certainly, it's basically a correlation statistic. It cannot be concluded that it all depends on the first extended lifespan, but at least tell us, an active sex life includes self-defense. It's part of a healthy life, rather than a flood. As for women, there is a relative lack of data from similar large studies, but believe that the truth is the same. Maintain a certain level of sexual activity contributes to women's physical and mental health and quality of life. Since science has proven moderate masturbation is harmless and beneficial. We also talked about so many benefits. So does that mean you can do whatever you want? Addicted to it without restraint? No, definitely not. Everything has a degree. So how much is too much? In fact, there is no uniform standard. Everyone's situation is different. As long as it doesn't affect daily life, don't let your body get too tired. Is within the normal range. Some people a few times a week. Some people once a month. It's okay as long as you feel comfortable. If the frequency is so high that you feel physically exhausted or local discomfort, then you need a little restraint. Men who masturbate with too much force may cause penile skin damage. Barely irritated when women lack lubrication may cause vaginal burning or infection. The solution is not difficult. Slow down, use lubricant when necessary. Make sure the process is comfortable and enjoyable. If necessary, it's okay to use some gadgets properly. Women use lubricants, can significantly improve comfort. Some vibration massage. The device can also provide additional stimulation. Men with mobility issues, consider using equipment such as vacuum pacemakers. The existence of these assistive tools, positive description of the objective needs in the elderly population. They're like reading glasses, like a crutch, just a little assistant to help us live a better life. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There is such an interesting thing. Uncle Wang is 70 years old this year. I've been following this little habit I formed when I was young. Will be inexplicable. Even my wife doesn't know. Occasionally he secretly amuses himself. He always felt so old. It's kind of embarrassing to do this, for fear of being laughed at, until a unit organizes a physical examination. The doctor asked about his sex life. Uncle Wang is perturbed, hesitating to admit himself, occasionally rely on the first silver to solve the demand. To his surprise, the doctor not only didn't look surprised, instead he smiled and said it was fine and normal. Just remind him to pay attention to the frequency. Don't do it too often. The doctor's attitude relieved Uncle Wang. He thought to himself that since even the doctor said it was fine, so what's there to worry about? Since then, he was much more relaxed about his little hobby, no longer feel shameful. For significant others in the elderly, the first silver does not mean infidelity to significant others. Many elderly couples, there will be situations where sexual needs are not synchronized. The nature of one side is still relatively high, but the other party may be due to health reasons, or personal will, unwilling to have sex. It's the one with the higher libido. Satisfy yourself with the first silver. That's a middle way. He took care of each other's feelings. They also maintain their physical and mental health. Of course, it is best to communicate openly with each other. Avoid misunderstandings. See this behavior as alienation or betrayal. As long as the first silver is regarded as a supplement to the married life, rather than opposition, both parties can respect each other. Maintain a happy state of mind and body. Some couples even choose to defend themselves together or soothing each other as a way of intimacy. If both parties can accept this calmly, you help me. I'll help you make out. It can also enhance the relationship. Let each other live without pressure. Get satisfaction. Saying so much? So let me conclude with this. The first silver. This little move that once made people ashamed. It's a health lesson that we can't imagine. For those over 60, not only does he not wear down the body, moderate. Instead, it can become a little helper to protect health. By masturbation, you can relieve stress, improve sleep, let tight nerves and muscles be soothed and relaxed. Men can reduce the risk of prostate problems. Women can maintain their private parts in good condition. He can also bring pleasant emotions, make life more happy. Let's say this simple habit. For many silver-haired people, quietly propped up a health umbrella company. Of course, we emphasize the benefits of masturbation. It doesn't encourage indulgence. Quite the contrary. We hope that everyone can learn from science. Look at him rationally. Don't talk about it. You don't have to be inky. He and walking. Yoga is like listening to opera. Just a personal choice to relax. If you think he makes you feel at ease, then he is part of living a healthy life. If you are not interested in him, you don't have to force it at all. The most important thing is to stay open-minded and confident. Know your body. Respect your own feelings. Life enters old age. A lot of things are changing. But the pursuit of happiness and health never goes out of style. If the first silver, it can add to your old life. Physical and mental pleasure, then accept this small gift calmly. Maybe you need a little courage in the beginning. But when you really let go of the burden, you will find that it is just a way to love yourself. Be honest with your body. It is the greatest respect for health and longevity. After all, there is no age limit for pursuing happiness, and the secret to good health. Sometimes it's hidden in these overlooked little, maybe in the details, when you use science, open-mindedness when facing one's desires. I also found a way to delay aging, one of the secrets to maintaining a youthful mindset.